I matriculated to the MD PhD program back in 2014. At that time, I had been invested in developing technology in the microbiome labs at WashU. And I was going through my clinical rotations, and I actually met an individual who presented to the hospital with stage 4 colorectal cancer. And I realized that in this day and age where we can sequence the human genome in 24 hours, we should be able to provide alternative solutions to individuals who either can't undergo a colonoscopy or it doesn't fit in with their lifestyle. So I founded Geneoscopy with the idea that we could leverage some of the research that I had been conducting in these microbiome labs to look at individuals with gastrointestinal disease and try to provide better healthcare solutions for them. So the ColoSense pivotal study, CRC-PREVENT, was a cross-sectional prospective pivotal trial that supports a pre-market approval application to the FDA. The study was novel in the way that we recruited patients. We actually went to where patients are. We used social media to provide ads to enroll patients onto the clinical trial. And then once a patient was enrolled, we just drop ship a collection kit to that individual. They provide a stool sample and ship the sample back to our laboratory where we would evaluate it using the ColoSense test system. Subsequently, we helped to navigate patients to receive a follow-up colonoscopy, and then we compared the results from the colonoscopy to the ColoSense result, positive or negative, to understand the sensitivity for colorectal cancer, the sensitivity for advanced adenomas, and the specificity for no findings on a colonoscopy. There's 150 million Americans that are currently recommended to undergo colorectal cancer screening as average risk individuals. So we were trying to be as reflective of that cohort as possible, just your average individual over the age of 45. And so by using this decentralized recruitment model, we believe that we had a more accurate representation of individuals that need to undergo colorectal cancer screening. By not using site-based models, we were able to recruit individuals that did not have a colonoscopy scheduled at the time of enrollment, that had never before had a colonoscopy, never before undergone non-invasive testing. And those are the individuals that I want to test with ColoSense, right? The people that kind of aren't aware of colorectal cancer screening or can't undergo invasive options like a colonoscopy. So what our study did was we targeted individuals that, again, didn't have a colonoscopy scheduled, individuals that maybe weren't willing or couldn't undergo a colonoscopy procedure. And that was the patient population that we recruited for the CRC-PREVENT clinical trial. Through our online enrollment process, we engaged over 275,000 individuals. Ultimately, we identified about 14,000 individuals who enrolled on the clinical trial because they were average risk, asymptomatic, over 45. And then of those, 85% actually returned a ColoSense test to our laboratory that was viable. And then about 85% of those patients were successfully navigated to a colonoscopy. That we had the highest sensitivity for colorectal cancer at 94.4% sensitive. We also had the highest reported sensitivity for advanced adenomas at 46% sensitivity. And our specificity for no findings on a colonoscopy was 88%, which is, again, one of the highest reported specificities for a non-invasive screening option. we submitted these data to the FDA, again, as part of a pre-market approval application. They're undergoing the review process right now, and we anticipate having an approval decision over the next 3 months. Once we receive that feedback from the FDA, we hope to launch commercially to allow providers and patients to start using this test for colorectal cancer screening. We've partnered with a large laboratory, decentralized laboratory, that will allow us to commercialize this test successfully and reach, again, the 150 million Americans that require colorectal cancer screening. We were really the first company to ever try a completely decentralized clinical trial of this scale. And we demonstrated massive success in terms of recruiting a diverse and representative cohort that reflects the intended use population. I think that in light of the success we've seen, the FDA has now produced guidance on leveraging decentralized recruitment for enrollment, and mentioned that is one of the ways that we can ensure diversity and inclusion in our studies and our clinical trials, where traditionally, people with minorities and people with low socioeconomic status have not had adequate representation in clinical trials. So I hope that we are paving the way for future companies and future clinical trials to be conducted in a way that is conscious of some of those discrepancies and disparities. The only other really big thing that came out of this study that I was really excited about is that we demonstrated very high sensitivity and specificity in the younger age population. 45 is the new 50 with regards to colorectal cancer screening. And really, there's a dearth of data out there to demonstrate non-invasive testing in that cohort. About 22% of our entire cohort was 45 to 50. And I think that we demonstrated 100% sensitivity for colorectal cancer and 45% sensitivity for advanced adenomas, which provides substantial evidence that we can non-invasively test patients in that age bracket with our ColoSense test.